Hi, I'm Chef Leo.
Hi, I'm Chef Theo, and this is The Confessions of a Private Chef. Season 1, Episode 2 revolves around travel. How was your weekend, Chef?
What's the weekend, brother?
You're supposed to travel on the weekends.
Oh, I know, but our work week is the weekends because we're constantly cooking for people on the weekends. So.
We're traveling.
We're traveling for work. Yeah, I guess.
No, who are traveling? The people that are coming here.
I know. I mean, honestly, they're traveling from all over the country. The people that aren't traveling to book us, or book me anyways, are people like from San Antonio and Austin for the most part. Those are day travelers. They just come for the day, shop, look around, and then they're back in their beds that night. The majority of travelers that I've been getting lately, Houston, Dallas area, Louisiana, and then West Coast, East Coast. I've had a few from Ireland and
that's cool.
In Scotland, and last 2 weeks ago we cooked for some Brits, which was really
nice.
cool. Yeah. So, and it's funny because they were local, but they had family visiting from the UK, and then they had some people down the street that lived down the street that were from the UK. So that even though they really didn't know them, they invited and paid for their dinner they can
how cool is that?
Yeah, have this really cool gathering and talk about back home, which was cool.
Did you talk about fish and chips with them?
You know what? I did, and what they ordered was paella.
Oh wow,
which was
course.
funny. Yeah, so they love that. But yeah, I love fish and chips. That's probably one of my go-tos.
I know. I've never been to the UK. I'd love to go one day. But fish and chips sound phenomenal from there. I've made them at home a couple times. Tried to make my own recipe on that, and I love it. It's great stuff. But back to your other point, when I first moved to Fredericksburg, I realized how many people were actually day trippers.
Yeah.
They come here, like you said, they play for a little while, and they're back in their bed by that night.
Yeah, I remember pre-COVID, a lot of buses would come down from San Antonio and Austin, with
people just get bussed in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. I haven't seen that as much lately.
So, Leo, a little bit before you and I talked about some of the travels that you had done before, and you mentioned that you went to Italy.
Yeah,
at one point.
Oh yeah, I love Italy, man. I mean, I really didn't travel much growing up. I mean, be from here. Our vacation was down to Corpus, or hey, we're gonna go to Mexico. Piedras, or So that was the extent of my traveling when I was younger. It wasn't until later that I started traveling outside. We would go down to Mexico to visit family, but yeah, going to Europe, it was just mind-blowing experience. And, to me, I feel like everyone should take the time and just save up and travel if they can, so they can experience a new world, or the old world, but something new.
That's a really good inspiration. I'm sure from something like that, you come back and you're just loaded with just inspiration, and you're just buzzing with just, great vibes from traveling and eating, different stuff, and seeing, beautiful things that you've never seen before.
Totally, man. And I wish I could do it more often, but now with our workload, it's almost impossible. You have to really just block off or save up enough money to
Exactly.
You're not going to be working and going. So
and plan the right according time. Like a slow season here in FBG.
Right, which is I don't know if there's a slow season here in town. I do know that slow season in Italy is normally during Christmas break, even spring break, because
really,
we see spring break here as something everyone goes and does, all these schools and so forth. And not over there. I mean, they keep going. So I mean, but really around the New Year, Christmas time, things are slower over there. People are traveling to see their families wherever they may be. So if you go to a beautiful place like Florence, it's almost empty.
Wow.
You have the town to yourself. I mean, I'm not going to say it's dead, but it's a lot slower. In colder season, people aren't out and running around the way they are during the summer.
Do you remember the pasta that you had there?
Oh God, I remember all the pasta that I had there, and that's been years ago.
Great wine.
Oh, amazing! Even the cheap wine, it's great wine.
Oh, dude.
But really, it's it's the ambiance when you're drinking or eating anything there, and looking at the beautiful buildings and people walking by, and it's just
It's a whole new level.
It's everything. Yeah. And so it's like, where's the bad part? I guess you got to go and find the suburbs
Right.
to see the bad parts of a lot of those places. But for the most part, it's like I said, it's eye opening, mind blowing experience.
Part of the reason why I have travel as one of our things that we're going to talk about, or one of these episodes, is because I was so inspired by Anthony Bourdain for such a long period of time, and I just love to watch him travel. I love to watch him go all these different places, and I feel like he gave me a really broad knowledge. His show especially gave me a really broad knowledge of foods from around the world, and it's just such an inspiration. So, do you have like a dream trip you want to take?
Not really. I mean, there are places I haven't gone that I love to go and try out, but a dream trip. I mean, right now I'd love to just go down to Oaxaca, to
hell
Mexico,
yeah.
just to go and eat and just spoil myself there. That would be, that's not going to be breaking the bank, and that's quick trip.
You and I talked about that when we first started, when we first sat down.
Yeah, I know.
Oaxaca.
I was telling you, my in-laws went just for the weekend. I mean, just to be able to go for a weekend and come back.
Cool.
It's nice, right? And go and eat something and experience just a little break. But
they have such a vibrant food culture there.
They do.
Oaxaca. It really kind of is the capital of I mean, they have their own cuisine going on down there.
Yeah,
it's not just your typical Mexican. Or
Tex-Mex. Yeah. We talked about Oaxaca when I was in culinary school. I studied the region, and it was like one of the only foods in all the Americas that just never was influenced by outside culture. So it stayed true to its roots. So truly authentic Mexican cuisine. Where you travel up north, things change. Even down further south, everything that was influenced from the European people coming in at that time had a big influence on the food, but things stayed true to its roots, like mole when it was created still. So we talked about the mother mole and how old it is.
Mother mole, dude.
Yeah, that stuff is old but good.
Dude,
so,
I wonder, it'd be cool to get your hands on some of that stuff.
Right? Go in there.
Is it even legal? I was reading this crazy story. I'd have to look it up, but there's a certain ingredient from Oaxaca that you cannot legally, and it's not drugs or anything like that, but it's something that's not legal in America.
Well, I believe you can't travel over the border with any type of fresh produce or anything for that fact. So that's,
you're right.
I mean, so that being said, like you can find a lot of the ingredients that you could make dishes like mole and certain other dishes from Mexico, like epazote is one of them. So epazote, this herb that just has a unique flavor.
You can't find it anywhere here.
Now you can. I believe Central Market and places like that can are starting to carry that. But there are also some Latin grocery food stores that you can find that. I know in San Antonio there's Las Americas that sells things from all over the Americas. So it's cool. You can find unique things, but Central Market's doing a great job on bringing in, new stuff.
Oh, for sure.
There's also Fiesta.
Dude. Fiesta.
Yeah.
I used to buy concert tickets at Fiesta.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I lived in Houston, it was that was the place to go. Like if you were going to go see a show, they had like a Ticketmaster thing there. So
right.
But anyways, no, I love Central Market too. I feel like that's a great, like if you can't like travel because maybe like you've been busy or you're on a budget or whatever for the year, Central Market's a great place to go and just kind of feel like you're in another place for a little while.
Oh, totally, man.
I don't know. It's a great getaway.
I know. That's how we get away now.
I know, right?
As chefs, man. We got to just go see what we can find that we can,
We took, I've taken 2 food kind of journeys, once to Nashville and once to New Orleans. Both pretty cool food towns. We went to Nashville to eat our weight in hot chicken.
I was gonna say,
yeah, it's pretty good. We did the whole Hattie B's thing, and
that sounds like something Guy Fieri would do.
Yeah, dude, I told you he's my hero. Yeah. So, but no, I mean, such a cool town. So much the country music scene, but it's not just country music anymore. It's a lot of different kinds of music. And not everything that we ate there was phenomenal. Not just the hot chicken, but I remember distinctly we had a great cup of coffee at this place called Barista Parlor. Pretty cool, like old warehouse space that they and they had like this section where you could go pick your vinyl record to be played
cool.
in the coffee shop, which I thought was cool. And they had all these old vintage motorcycles. But yeah, no, it was cool. And then when we went to New Orleans, we were event staff for a cocktail. It was this thing called Tales for the Cocktail, and that is a cocktail festival. So for a whole week, they're bringing in people from all over the country, all over the world. Master mixologist, met a guy from Argentina there, and all these liquor brands. They bring in product, and I mean, it's just like a week-long booze fest.
So did you go knowing that that's what you were going to go do, to go check that out, or did you stumble upon that?
The funny thing is, we just had the opportunity to go just through some friends of some friends, and to be the event staff. So we got paid to go, and we got
that's cool.
we got royal treatment.
Yeah.
Every
Free
day.
booze?
It was free, whatever.
Wow.
New Orleans is definitely. It seems like it's definitely a town of excess.
Totally.
Like when you're there,
yeah.
you're a glutton.
Yeah, I know. I've had my share of New Orleans, and I love New Orleans, man.
Yeah.
I used to go a lot pre-Katrina.
Really?
After that, it took a long time before I went back.
For sure.
And by then, my kids were super young, and it took a 9-hour trip, like almost, I don't know, man, 14 and 15 hours to get there
Oh my God.
with kids. So I hadn't gone back since then.
I don't blame you.
But
Yeah.
but my brother-in-law is a Thibodeau. And,
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so he spoils me sometimes if I want a touffet or some boudin. Sometimes he'll share.
Hell yeah.
But
I didn't realize the red beans and rice thing was such a religion there.
Yeah,
on
man.
Mondays they do this whole red beans and rice thing.
Yeah.
And you hear it, until you have it the right way, and you realize, wow, this is something that it seems very humble in nature, but they elevate it to this level of like,
Totally.
you're like, you taste
I know.
the soul in it,
Yeah, I love to go to the market there, right past the Café du Monde, the market a little bit.
that's
So
great.
in the corner, and that's where I would go for my red bean and rice. Sometimes on Sunday,
Heck yeah.
So, oh man, I miss that.
Yeah.
I really do miss that. The culture.
It's
almost like Mexico, but not as
it's a lot of service. I mean, it's all service industry people.
Yeah.
So I remember like one of the nights we were out, we went to this bar, and it was just all these people that were servers, they were bartenders,
Mhm.
they were chefs, they were cooks, anything that had to do with restaurants, they're all there.
Yeah.
And that's like their main export.
Yeah.
So I've never met any of those people in that room. And I remember by the end of the night, like I had like 4 new best friends, and it was crazy.
It felt like you worked with them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love that, man.
So sometimes I'll be scrolling Instagram or, seeing something on YouTube, and I'm like, man, I would totally travel
Mhm.
just for this one restaurant, something that I'd see.
Yeah.
I kind of have this crush on this restaurant right now in Nashville, speaking of Nashville, called Locust.
Never heard
Have
of
you
it.
heard of them?
No.
So they do this really cool, they're kind of like this fusion between Asian and what they say is Irish. So like it's an Irish Asian fusion thing. But just the whole vibe is cool. They have this big open kitchen, and it's they play really loud rock music, and they make like these handmade dumplings. It just looks like a lot of fun. Do you have any places that you see that?
Not really. When I traveled a lot more for work, I would always do my research prior to going to see where I wanted to go. But that was the extent of like, am I going to travel just for that place? No. But when I was there, I would find some really cool places that were unforgettable. I know I was in Atlanta doing a show one time, and found this really cool Italian restaurant. I can't recall the name of it, but they did a gnocchi with stewed rabbit.
Oh my god!
Oh god, it was so succulent, and just the stuff melted in your mouth. And I thought when they brought me a dish, and it's like, oh god, I hope that's enough, because it didn't look like a lot. It's a nice upscale restaurant, and it wasn't enough. I was like, I ordered 2 bowls of that thing.
Nice.
I hope they didn't think bad of me but it was so freaking good. And then there was another restaurant that I went to called the Purple Pig in Chicago, right across from Michael Jordan's bar that he has downtown. And it was like a elevated bar scene, bar food. So they had tons of, what you would normally find in a bar. But
The Purple Pig.
the Purple Pig, man,
Love the name.
really cool chef out there. They also have some great cocktails, and that's what I'm always looking at, is like who has good cocktails and who does. And then I look at pictures of, like, let's say they're old fashioned, because
yeah.
if they are muddling their oranges, like, I stay away. I don't care how good the
Yeah.
restaurant is. If they can't make a good cocktail, it's like, I'm not gonna
No,
go.
I mean, you're spending a lot of money on the cocktail, you
Right.
know, and you want to have just a premium experience.
Yeah.
I was in Chicago once for training. We didn't actually make it into the city. We were kind of on the outskirts,
Hmm.
but we ate at this phenomenal. It was a neighborhood restaurant. It looked like it was like an Applebee's at one point,
Wow.
but
That's cool.
they changed it to this place called Jax, Jax, and you walk into this place and the first thing you smell, they have all these rotisserie chickens just going in this giant like hearth oven that's like wood fired, and you're like, where did I just stumble into? And this wall of wine.
Hmm.
So like it's very unassuming from the outside because it's just like this old beat up Applebee's. And then you walk in, and I was talking to some people there, some of the people that I met during that training that were from Chicago that were training. They were just going to stay there in Chicago. Like, oh yeah, this is common here. We have these little neighborhood spots that, they're kind of exclusive to the neighborhood, and they're just excellent, phenomenal, eateries.
Yeah.
There was one evening where we came very close to traveling and splitting an Uber because everybody wanted us to go check out Italy. Have you heard of that?
Of course, yeah. I've been to the one in Manhattan.
I've never been.
Uh-huh.
I've heard they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I'd like to. I heard there's one in Dallas now, maybe.
Maybe I don't keep up with it, but yeah.
But they were like, "Oh, dude, what an amazing experience! You have to do it at some point." So, hopefully, that's something I get to do.
Yeah, no, it's to go to something like Italy. It's like everything from Italy. Different cuts of meat. All cured, and Jesus, it's just your senses just overload. Yeah, but oh my God, pricing as well. It's just over the top. Yeah.
It's like a theme park for people who like food, is what I heard.
Yeah, totally. There's a version of that, but based on Spain.
Really?
Also, right as you exit the High Line in Manhattan, you exit that thing, and all you see is this big. I can't even remember what the sign said, but it's a take of Italy, but a Spanish version, and it was really cool. You walk in there, and they have a room where it's just open fire pits with paella pans. Then they have one just for sandwiches and one for just for your pastries, and it's really freaking. And now the prices were a lot better there, so I would keep going back there just for a sandwich a day if I had to, man.
Is it the jamon?
El jamon, yes.
Oh yeah, dude. That stuff's
crazy, man. Just
phenomenal.
Thin and on bread, on a baguette, and that's it. Cheese. So good, man. So good. Keep talking about food.
You know what? I going back to the thing here in Fredericksburg, I met some people here one time. They were traveling from New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, all the way here to Fredericksburg. And they were like, yeah, we're really interested in the all the wine stuff going on here.
Yeah.
So you do get people from all over.
We do. And there's I know that the city, the chamber has this thing with it's called the Geiger Group, and they bring people from all over the world so they can experience what Fredericksburg has to offer. And a lot of them are like publications, so a lot of, from airlines to just, like Better Homes and Garden or whoever.
Oh, yeah.
So they take little tours through different businesses or restaurants, and they get to experience, the best parts of Fredericksburg, or what they think the best parts of Fredericksburg are. And then they go back home and write about it, and we get more travelers that way.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's a cool concept, and it's been working well.
You know what's cool too is recently we were at Altstadt, and I love how they made it to look like you were in Belgium or something. You really feel like that's a cool spot here. It feels like you're somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel like you're in Central Texas.
Yeah, walking in, almost like a castle vibe.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
And then if you're looking out over the back area, like their little back patio area, it's really nice. But somebody told me once that they designed it to look like you were looking over a hill in Belgium. I don't know how true that is.
I've never asked. I'm good friends with Billy Scripps, and I've never asked about what they were thinking about designing.
Yeah.
we always talk about. It's funny. We talk a little bit about beer, but he loves scotch. So
Oh.
he should have built something like
Yeah.
that. But it's mind. It's beautiful. I love going there. I used to perform there with a good friend, my good friends. And the best part of performing there is like, oh, you can eat whatever you want. So it's like,
That's cool.
What am I gonna have now?
I think if I was going to have a dream trip anywhere, it would be Tokyo.
Oh, that would be cool.
I'd like to go out to Tokyo. I find their culture very interesting, and I love their knives. I love the Japanese knives.
Yeah.
And, I just think that, imagine the sushi and the ramen and all that stuff you can get there. That you couldn't get. I mean, I'm sure you can get a version of whatever that is, and probably some really good ones here in America. But to be able to go there and do it would be cool.
Yeah, I had a foreign exchange student from South Korea stay with us for a little bit over a year, and his family would send over from like boxes with different types of foods and stuff, and enjoyed it. I mean, it was cool. Like, they had like little pancakes that they would make and fill with stuff, and it just it was always a treat. We didn't have to go to South Korea to experience something truly authentic from South Korea. Yeah. We're getting these love care, boxes,
care packages.
Yeah, care packages every month. What I did learn from him were two things. He left, and it still sticks with me. And I talked to him. I chat with him maybe once a week or so. He's had a baby. His family, his wife had a baby, and sushi. He would pronounce it sushi. Sushi. There's never sushi. He's like, oh, why don't people just say it's sushi? And then we'd call them. Sung Jun was his name. Sung Jun Hong.
Oh wow.
And we would call him what was it? Songy. I think something along that line.
Okay.
And he would just smile at us, and it's like, bro, why are you smiling? It's like Sung Jun, Songy or whatever the short was. Well, at the end of his stay, when he finally told us why he would always crack a smile, because it was like a nickname for what you would call his male member. It's like, we could say his dick, it's like, really, oh my God. And we were just so, like, I know the whole time,
Y'all
man.
didn't even realize.
I did, I know.
And he was just being cool with it. He was just going along with it.
Yeah. But it was funny, man. I had a great experience with that foreign exchange student. I think he was a big Barcelona fan. If you like soccer, if you know soccer. And at that time, I had a friend that was a big Real Madrid, and did literally like get into arguments, fist fights sometimes about who was a better team. But it was crazy how,
Dude, people are very passionate about their football team.
Totally, man.
Yeah.
Totally. But that's 100%.
Another...
Yeah, totally.
That's another topic.
Yeah, that's another topic.
But on the topic of travel, I mean, all around the world, I mean, that's probably the biggest sport by far.
Totally. The biggest sport in the world. Yeah.
Biggest sport in the world. What the cool thing about the hill country too is there's so many like little hidden gems around here that you can try. You can just do a quick a little day trip, like we were talking about people coming to Fredericksburg. But even like for the people like us here in Fredericksburg, we have everyone's kind of got their little quiet hill country spot.
Yeah.
I was talking to you earlier about this Castell, this little town.
Yeah.
And they got a great little area where you can get on the Llano River down there. You can do some kayaking. A lot of nature. There's like 4 dirt roads to get there. Almost like a little ghost town. It's pretty cool.
No, I loved it. Growing up, we'd go there. A buddy of mine, Chris Mullenhauer, he had a little Suzuki Jeep. We'd take it down there and try to get it in the river as far as we could, and we would fish or swim. No, there's a gar in there as well. So you don't want to get bitten by an alligator gar when it's. But it's just something cool to go do in the hill country. What do? You find little places like that,
little spots
that aren't even. There's never anyone there.
I mean, when the time we went, I mean, it was like we had this whole little
beach, but made out of rocks.
To ourselves, and I was like, where are the people? But no, it seems like just such a not a secret, but totally hidden little gem. Yeah, there are tons of those places, man. I know you have a little hidden gem for fishing. Oh yeah, I do. I do, and it's funny. You say that. I went last night. A good friend of mine, Tyler Long, and
we got there late. I've never fished that place in the evening, but I cooked for people, and I never do this, but this was like 2 years ago. I cooked with a client, and I drove into his property. He's like, "Oh my God, it's a beautiful man-made pond. I wonder if he fishes it or if there's any fish in there." And cooked for him. Didn't even think about asking him because you get so caught up in your work and what you're doing, unloading, prepping, setting up, setting the table. Of course, all the conversations that you have with your the guests. And I just forgot about it. I went back again, forgot about it because same thing. And about a year passed, and he calls me, "Hey, can you come and cook?" Sure. And when I was driving, because okay, first thing I'm gonna do when I see him, I'm gonna ask him. And I did. That was in the spring, early, maybe late winter of this year. And oh my God, I hadn't fished at a place like that in such a long time that would, just give me satisfaction of going fishing and keep on wanting to go. And he was like, "Yeah, if you love fishing, you should come out. We need a pool, over a little bit over 100 bass so we can get the population down, and
Wow.
the ones that are there we can let grow." And it's like, yeah, definitely. But you have to take them all home, and you have to cook them or whatever you want to do with them. But you have to get them.
eat them.
You have to eat and take them with
Yeah.
it. You have to take
Yeah.
them. So
No catch and release.
no catch and release, and which is funny because that's all I want to do. I just want to catch and release because I love the way it feels when you hook a fish and bring it
in.
and then it feels great to release them. But at that point, it was like, oh God, I really don't want to bring fish home. So one of my cousins, Billy Perez, he goes, I invited him, and he's a big fisherman like me. He probably loves fishing more than I do. And my wife's cousin, Jorge, who we call Bebe, because I've known him since he was a little kid. Now he's a full-grown man doctor. And he was in town, and he goes, "Hey, let's go fishing." We went and pulled that first day in 4 hours about 50-something fish.
Oh my gosh.
Got tired. My arm hadn't been tired of fishing like that in a while. Came back. I had to clean them. And it's like, man.
Fish fry.
Exactly. And, so tempura, some seasoning, and cooked them outside so I don't make a big mess in the house.
Yeah.
And I hadn't had fresh caught fish in a long time. I want to say almost 30 years.
Wow.
I'm used to just ordering fish and chips or however, cooking salmon, you go to the grocery store, buy it. It was a totally different experience. I had forgotten how good it was to catch a nice largemouth bass and clean it up and deep fry it. Oh yeah, season it just right, a little bit of lemon, and that was it. I cooked all those fish. I ended up giving 90% of the fish away.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of fish.
Yeah, my in-law, brother-in-law, my mother, my sister, I think, and I kept some. And first thing I'm told is like it's not going to keep well. And I'm like, popped in the air fryer the next day, just like it came out of the fryer. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so crazy.
I think that's really cool how it's like you can get a little bit of travel, and get that kind of experience of fishing, here in the hill country, and you don't have to go very far, which is cool. Because like you said, our workload is normally pretty high, and, we're busy on the weekends, so we don't really have a whole lot of opportunity, to travel regularly. But so then when you can just find a little spot like that,
totally
you can get away to and just get back real quick.
So about you, I mean, like we needed to get away to, want to go eat somewhere that was not necessarily in Fredericksburg.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you go? Or you want to just relax a little bit?
Oh, dude, I know, right?
Besides Castell.
Actually, I really like the little restaurant in Central Market. Going back to the Central Market.
Which one? Where?
The one on North Lamar.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a little. I mean, it's just kind of run of the mill food. I mean, but you can taste it. It's quality, and I like the fact that there's a play area outside for my kids,
Mm-hmm.
so they can play, and then I just like to just walk around Central Market and just stare at labels or look at produce for an hour or so. It's like therapy.
You were like, wow, really?
I enjoy Austin as a food destination. I also really like Lauro. I think that's a great spot. I like the fusion of, Japanese smokehouse. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little pricey, but I mean, it's worth the experience.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, we have a handful of other places we like to, eat there in Austin. We don't get to go very often. I mean, we cook at home. My family, we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at home pretty much, let's say 6 nights a week,
Mm-hmm.
6 days a week. I mean, we're always cooking at home, honestly. And so sometimes it is nice to just kind of get away and be able to eat something you didn't have to cook,
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
I get it, man.
So we're going to have a recipe of the week.
Right.
Recipe of the week. So this is going to be the first episode where we're going to have recipe. And for this week, the theme is going to be breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel about that?
Oh, man. I love breakfast food. I don't often make breakfast at the house. But yeah, man. I mean, I do have a breakfast menu that I offer. And so, I'm more of a sweet guy when it comes to certain things. I like elevate to sweet when it comes to breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
But just a good omelet. I just recently, got back to eating my omelets with, black beans, and I told you this morning, my harissa sauce, and
nice.
I like spicy stuff. So it's
dude.
like the other day I made a breakfast where it's just like eating at oh my God, like a Holiday Inn, it's like what you would find: sausage, eggs, a little bacon, whatever, potato hash.
Yeah.
It's like, man, I felt like I was eating at,
at a Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn.
You're eating at the free breakfast.
Yes. Which is, enough Tabasco sauce. It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. If I eat eggs, I have to have hot sauce with my eggs for sure.
Mm-hmm, same.
So I think the plan is you're going to make something and I'm going to make something.
Correct.
And we're both going to post what we've made. I'm going to post mine on the Dine-In Dude, and Chef Leo's going to post his on his page.
Right. Might eat at fbgtx.com or and social media.
In social media.
Yeah.
And what we'll do is we'll both post what we made and the recipe.
Yeah, totally.
So that you, the listeners, can make it yourself, or that you can just check it out. Go on there and see what you think.
Right. We'll make it easy, affordable. The main thing is to try to create something with things that we have either around the house or won't take much, to create. Try to keep it simple. Because you can create simple dishes, simple ingredients, but presentation to me,
is everything.
Is everything.
For sure.
I mean, yeah, flavor is as well. It's half of it.
Yeah.
But you have to make it, pretty
make
sexy.
it look good.
Yeah, make it sexy. It makes it good.
That's right. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up. And it's been fun, man. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, thanks for having me too.
And be on the lookout for the breakfast recipe coming soon.
For sure. So yeah, hopefully y'all like what we make and try it and then get some feedback.
For sure. All right. Peace out, dude.
All right. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
All right. Ciao.